Hello, you're welcome. It gives me great joy to observe you doing this video today. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Lainka Conley. I'm a lecturer in the university. I'm a researcher. I'm a public speaker. I'm a life coach. On this channel, I do a number of stuffs. But all these stuffs I do, you can cluster them into four: sociology, research, relationship, and migration. If today is your first time of coming in contact with my channel, kindly subscribe to this channel. Tap your notification button so you are alerted every time I drop new video. Kindly comment, like and share, and tell others about this channel. If you have subscribed to this channel previously, thank you very much for staying tuned. Kindly comment, like, share, and inform others about this channel. In this video, I want to address a very important issue: background of study. Background of study. I decided to make this video because I see a lot of confusion, a lot of problems for people in writing background of study. Meanwhile, you must know that in some universities, some institutions, even some publishing houses, some journals, they collapse background of study, with introduction. They merge the two, so they simply say background and introduction. However, even when these two are collapsed, basic elements must be respected so that you are clear. So for clarity purposes, I will separate the background of study from introduction. I will make another video. My next video will most likely be on introduction. But in this video, I want to do background of study so we are clear. So even if you want to write your project, your thesis, your dissertation, your report, or your article, or chapter, or book, and you want to collapse background and introduction, depending on the style guide, you are clear, because you still have to respect basic components of these two areas. Even if you are merging them, they mean two different things. So even if you are merging them in your work, you must understand what makes background and what makes introduction, so you are able to flow logically. So today, in this video, I will address background of study. It's one of the most difficult parts of research or paper or work or articles that people write. They find it tough to write. So yet it's very important. It's one of the most important parts of your writing. Very key, because it will determine ultimately whether people will read your work, whether they will appreciate your work, whether they will value the work or not. Because it's usually after the abstract, it's your background of study that people will see, that people will read. So I have another video on this channel on abstract, writing great abstract. You try to watch that video too. So very important is your background of study, and you must be deliberate about it, and it must be engaging. It must be very engaging. It must be very interesting. It must be very informative for people to read, and their judgment based on your background will determine whether they read the whole work. Very important, I want you to know, is that you must read literature extensively, because actually your background of study will tell us the context of the work, will tell us the remit, the boundaries of the work. But how do you demarcate your work? How do you contextualize your work if you have not read literature? You must do extensive literature review. Meanwhile, I have another video on this channel on literature review. Try to watch that too. So because from the literature that you will understand the state of knowledge, that you understand the gap, that you then understand what you should contribute. Your work should contribute to knowledge, and you are not able to contribute to knowledge without understanding the gaps, the state of knowledge, the state of the heart. So you must do extensive literature review for you to be able to do quality work, relevant work, and for you to be able to do background of study, and for you to be able to write it very well. So is the background of study is the context, and it gives you from the background of study that you are writing, we must do the rationale. I have another video on this channel on justification of study. So you must be able to give us an insight into the rationale of this work. It is very important. And you must give us a tip of the statement of problem. I have another video on statement of problem on this video, on this channel. So you bring all of this together, you wrap them. You know, you're not going to be very extensive in this place. Usually, background of study, it depends on what you are writing. If you're writing a thesis, or you're writing a project, or you're writing a dissertation, I say it shouldn't be more than 2 pages or 3 maximum. I see people write 10 pages or 11 pages when I examine thesis. I say it's too much. So it depends on the style of your school or your supervisor. But if it's an article, actually, it should not be more than 1.5 pages maximum for me. So, or 1 page, essentially. Because you need, I have another video on how to write articles for publication. Because you are battling with word count, the number of words. So you don't want to spend too much. And then you want your background of study to be very sharp. So you have to be sharp, smart, and brief, yet very informative. So this your background of study should give us the context of the study, should give us the rationale of the study, should give us an insight into the problem of the study, the problem you want to study, you want to understand. Even in your background, we must be able to have insight into the research questions you want to answer in a very sharp way, So this has to be wrapped up in this place. Then we should be able to see what are the main issues you want to address in a very intelligent way. What are the main issues we want to address? What are the core issues? Very important. And why are these issues very important? These are things you put in your some of these things, few statements, because with about 4 paragraphs of 12 lines, Time New Roman 12, for example, if that's what you use, you want to see all of this in a way that you want to make your readers salivate, literally speaking. To want to delve into reading the work. You want to wrap all of this content in that background so that they see, wow, it gives us the wow effect, the aha effect. They say, wow, this is very interesting. What is what this person wants to look at in this work? I better read this work. You get it? So you tell us the main issue and why is it important. And you can give us an insight also to engage. That's why literature review is very important, to let us know what has been done and what has not been done, and whether your work is going to engage with previous work in terms of supporting their findings or refuting their findings. But you can't do this without doing literature review. You want to tell us what has been done, which part you want to agree with, and which part you don't want to agree with, and why you want to do your own work, and why we should be interested in your own work. Very important. Then you must be careful. You must tell us what is unique about your work. In background, what is unique in your work? What is new? What is known? What is not known? And why? What do you want us to know in this your own work? And why should we care? So length varies from types of what you are writing and from institutions to institutions. But my own perspective is that you should be as brief and as clear as possible. If your work is too lengthy, this too voluminous at the level of background, it becomes unwieldy. It becomes too burdensome for people to read. And if you are too verbose, lengthy in your background of study, then how lengthy would the main work be? So I subscribe to the perspective that you have to be brief and sharp and smart here, and you have to be organized. You have to be organized. Every component must be fused in a way that is clear, and you have to give strong opening at the beginning of this your background. Punchy. You must have what we call elevator pitch. Elevator pitch. It's commonly used in strategic management or in operational in operations. But I've adapted it in my writings. What is the elevator pitch? What is the strongest word? What is the strongest statement you can use to open this background of study? It should be your first statement that is very strong and punchy, very catchy, in a way that people say, wow, this is great. You say it in a very sharp way, elevator pitch. That is, you say it in a way that is punchy, catchy, interesting, informative. You should put that at the very beginning, and we now follow all these patterns that I've mentioned here. If you put these components smartly and very strategically in your background to the study, then you will not be lacking in content. Now, I've told you what are the things that should be in your background of study. I've told you all these components. Now, put them together and be clear, and put them together in a very reasonable way with some citations. Don't forget, you must have done literature review with some citations, relevant citations, not outdated citations. Usually citation not more than 5 years, or between 1 and 5 years. Then you cite them. Don't go and cite 10, 20, 30 years old citations, except it's a classical writing in that area. Then if you do too many dated citations, that means your work will be old, too old when it arrives. So arrives the shelf. So that means you have to cite relevant literature and very fresh ones to be able to add value and recency and currency and legitimacy to your work. With this, I'm sure you should be a pro when next time you are writing your background of study. My next video will be on introduction, most likely. So I'll tell you what introduction should be and how the two of them can come together. Until I see you in my next video, kindly subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share, and tell others. Thank you very much.